Well, guys, we need to talk about the transphobic WNBA. All this virtue signaling, guys, and now all of a sudden, the WNBA says that in its cancer freedom. And
yeah, I'm declaring for the WNBA draft. The Women's League has a pretty loose definition of what a woman is. It kind of lets a gal like me just slide right in. But don't get me wrong, the skill level in the WNBA is very high. F***ing bitch. I'm just working on my defense today. Yeah, like women like me belong in women's sports. I'm looking forward to signing one of those big WNBA 5-figure contracts. I guess in the WNBA, you're supposed to do layups where they don't go in.
NS Cantor Freedom was ejected from the Fever Sky game after a heated confrontation with Natasha Cloud. Security stepped in as the situation escalated, sending Cantor out of the arena.
Men should not be playing in women's sports. It's completely ludicrous that anyone could support that. It's even more ludicrous that you do have Sophia Cunningham, a female athlete herself, very accomplished in her own right, coming forth and speaking that truth that men shouldn't play in women's sports. We want to protect women and girls.
On that same vein, in that story with ESPN, you talked about wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children, and that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I'm always believe that.
Percentage down to 11% to match the league best. Damn, I still can't get a hang of these air balls. I like the violence in the league. You got ugly black women tomahawk chopping ugly white women right in the throat. The whole league's about race wars. It's kind of like prison, a women's prison. Yeah, the last thing you want to be in the league is a good-looking woman. That'll put a target on your back. Yeah, in some female prisons in California, the women prisoners will get impregnated by another woman prisoner. Now, I'm not saying that'll happen on the team I'm drafted to, but it definitely might happen. The ladies of the league, they're always nagging. Pay us as much as the men make. Pay us what we're worth. But did you know the WNBA is subsidized by the NBA? And without that, they would just lose tons of money each year and couldn't stay in business. So paying players what they're worth would actually give them negative salaries. But sure, like whatever. Draft me, pay me what I'm worth. I'm on board with that. Little girl math. What? Yes, I can name at least one WNBA team. You got the you got the Phoenixes, the Phoenix Tampons, the Phoenix Ovaries, the Phoenix Bleeders, Memphis Muffs. Oh, Memphis Muffs is actually a really good name for a team. That goes, and that makes sense. I'd buy that jersey. Women are just as good at basketball as men. It's very exciting to watch. I'm looking forward to getting in the mix of the mean girl culture. Bitch! That was all ball! In the spirit of competition, the athletes in the league find a way to transcend human decency and just exude cruel behavior. The Women's League won't exactly say what a woman is, but based on what they will say, I qualify. So, I'm a woman. Looks like I'll be drafted number 1. Hey, my friend, here's a question. Do you ever climb into bed absolutely exhausted? Your body's aching, your mind's racing, you're wired, and can't get to sleep? Now, if you didn't know, that can be a sign your body is running low on one foundational mineral: Magnesium. What you need to know is magnesium is involved in hundreds of enzymatic reactions in your body, and up to 70% of adults don't get enough of it from food alone. You've probably heard me talk about magnesium breakthrough from Bioptimizers, which comes in capsules and flavor powders. I love it because it has 7 bioavailable forms of magnesium for sleep, recovery.
Politics. Of course, Royce White and Enes Kanter Freedom, they're not leftists. Royce White actually is a Republican, and he's ran for public office as a Republican. We know that the vast majority of these WNBA players are leftists. Dare I say, communists. You know, like Natasha Cloud. Since their political beliefs don't align with the leftist Marxist agenda, this is probably why the WNBA said, you guys can't play. Now, I encourage guys, leftist transgender basketball players to actually go out there and declare for the WNBA draft. I really do mean that, guys. I believe a leftist transgender basketball player should actually do this. And I'm wondering what the WNBA would actually say if they come out and say, hey, we don't have a problem with this particular transgender actually going into the WNBA draft. That's going to tell you everything you need to know. And then the WNBA is actually going to open up itself to a massive lawsuit. And I had a feeling, guys, that some kind of way the WNBA would not allow Royce White and Enes Kanter Freedom to actually play in the WNBA. I mean, they know, guys, that Royce White and Enes Kanter Freedom would average like 60 and 40 each and every game. They may not actually need any assists whatsoever because all they need to do, all a female WNBA player needs to do is just pass one of the ball. And guess what? There's not going to be one single WNBA player that can actually stop them from getting to the hole. It'll be a dunk fest. It'll be like NBA jams on steroids. Yes. And the woke WNBA says these players, these transgender players, are not allowed to play. Well, Royce White and Enes Kanter Freedom are actually firing back at the transphobic WNBA. Because WNBA guys, they have exposed themselves. They have exposed themselves. Now, not officially has the WNBA actually came out and said, hey, they can't go into the draft. But all the reports are coming in, guys. Front Office Sports, ESPN, they're all reporting that the WNBA said, no, these transgender players can't go into the WNBA draft. So let's go ahead and get into what Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White had to say. Here we go. So right over here on Outkick, ex-NBA player tells Laura Ingraham why WNBA can't ban him. I identify as a woman. But all of a sudden now, guys, the WNBA does not care about men identifying as women, even though Gabby Williams has actually said, yep, I'm open to playing with a transgender or playing against one. Well, the WNBA should have put their money where their mouth is. And Enes Kanter is actually bringing up the WNBA's own rule book when it comes to who can actually play in the WNBA. Now, I also find it interesting, guys, that this report actually started coming out after Enes Kanter Freedom was actually ejected from a WNBA game. Yeah, like a mere, 5 hours afterwards or so, next day, the WNBA comes out unofficially and says, no, he can't play in WNBA. But down here, he actually went on with Laura Ingraham on Fox News, and this is what he said down here after he was talking about how Natasha Cloud was actually cursing and everything in front of kids. It says, after Enes's appearance on Sunday, the lead sneakily drew a line in the sand, telling media outlets like Front Office Sports that Kanter Freedom will not be eligible to get drafted into the WNBA. He reminded them of their loose standard of what a woman is. Quote, I identify as a woman, or I should say, I am a woman. That's what he said. I should be allowed to play. Article 13, Section 1 says if you identify as a woman, then you are allowed to play. I identify as a woman, so yes, I can play. They're terrified because I might actually get drafted next year. Yeah, if the league didn't actually step in, guys, and try to stop them, no doubt about it, guys, probably a few teams who really want to win a WNBA title would actually draft them. If just one of them gets drafted, folks, no doubt about it, that team will win the WNBA title. Now, over here, Royce White, he has now come out and he has really blasted the transphobic, woke WNBA. Now, he's talking about he hasn't officially received any communication from the WNBA as far as he's not allowed to actually play. And by the way, he's going by the name of Rosha White for the purposes of playing basketball. Remember, Royce White identifies as a woman for the purposes of professional basketball. So he's gender fluid. This is what he said. Update. I have not received any official or unofficial communication back from the WNBA regarding my eligibility. I will say, as a black trans lesbian, the rumors of my denial for my multi-spirit existence are concerning. I'd also like to remind everyone there is a trans genocide taking place right now in America. These kind of casual comments lead to violence and our deaths. See, he's using the left's own words against them. Anyway, it goes on. If the sources are true, I would like to see the league take immediate action to correct anybody who refuses to affirm my identity or use my pronouns. Pay me. The WNBA leadership has to show up and do the work. To tell a black trans woman she is not a woman or that the trans experience is a stunt is transphobic, bigoted, and racist. It's literally Nazism and white supremacy. I think the commissioner may be demonstrating some white privilege. No? Wow. So Royce White, man, hit back on all the woke talking points. All of them. Because this is what the WNBA actually had to say right here, because Royce White actually did post this clip here. Former NBA players Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White will not be eligible to play in the WNBA after both declared themselves women and eligible for the draft, lead sources told Front Office Sports. The recent declarations of Freedom and White are simple publicity stunts, and the league is not going to give oxygen to efforts designed to mock the league or use this topic to demean and marginalize others. One lead source said, the WNBA will not allow outside pressure or manufactured controversy to dictate league processes. Yeah, sounds pretty transphobic to me, folks. Sounds pretty transphobic to me. But I'm pretty sure, the Wolsters like Gabby Williams and Natasha Cloud are probably going to agree with the WNBA on this, because they're going to say, oh, these two players, they're not transgenders. Who is to actually say who is trans? Who is to say who is a woman or not? I thought you guys, WNBA, you didn't know what a woman was. You guys, week 10 to this thing, still have not defined what a woman is. Yeah. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.